big game breakdown. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1, Sunday afternoon, 12:30 Pacific on ABC. Cavs at Boston. Cavs are 1.5 and 204 the total for Game 1. Series price, Cavs steam. Open 250 in some spots. They're 310 at the Westgate in Las Vegas. Take back on Boston's plus 250. Now, throw out what happened last year and throw out what happened in the regular season. This is amazing but true. It's a rematch of last year's conference finals, Teddy. But you only got 9 guys who were on the same team with both of these teams. Where everyone has switched places or moved on. And look, the Cavs made the big trade deal at the deadline. And those guys like Nance and Clarkson and Hood, they don't even play really.
It really is. When you think about where these teams were, last year in the conference finals, where Cleveland took care of business, a 4-1 series win over the Celtics, including dominance on Boston's home floor. You think back to that series. Then you think back to where they were when they met on the opening night. Kyrie switched teams. We got Gordon Hayward on Boston. This is going to be a real different story this year. And then we think back to the regular season meetings this year. As you mentioned, all 4 played relatively early. There's nothing we can take from any of them, okay? This is kind of like starting from scratch with 2 teams that are so different now than they were even a month or 2 ago. When you consider where Cleveland was, not just in terms of public perception, in terms of betting market perception, against Indiana 2 weeks ago, this point spread with the Cavs as chalk in Boston stands out like a sore thumb. You're like, what have the markets done? They have fallen in love with Cleveland, the markets, pumping their power rating up and up and up and up in that series against Toronto, far more than they've been impressed with the Celtics, who, again, are home dogs in Game 1 and, again, are big dogs in a series where, if you look at the postseason performances right now, Boston hasn't been that much worse than Cleveland if you're grading them out in a power rating perspective.
All right, I got a lot to say. Number 1, Boston 7-0 straight up in ATS at home in the playoffs. I think they're 24-8 ATS during the season as dogs. So you don't want to give Stevens points. And he's also a dangerous dog too, best coach in the league. The other thing, prisoner of the moment. You're right. This team had to go 7 with Indiana, and they're lucky they won the series. They were down in the second half at home in Game 7. Don't forget, 3 games in a row, Oladipo was horrible and couldn't make a shot, and that series still went 7. The supporting cast stunk in that series. LeBron's averaging 34, 9, and 9 in the playoffs. He's been Superman. The other thing, you're right, they were great against Toronto when they eviscerated them and got whatever they wanted on offense, but Toronto's a bunch of mental midgets and they can't handle adversity. Casey putting Valanciunas out there, Love carved him up, and also what I thought was big, horrible job by the Raptors in Game 1, big reason why they blew a 14-point lead. They would double and keep sending people at LeBron when he would penetrate. It's like if he wants to take a contested shot at the rim, so be it. But he was kicking it out once he saw the double team. Corver and Smith are wide open, and they got going from 3. The supporting cast got going, and the rest is history. So, yeah, they just swept the Raptors, but they were lucky to get out of the first round. And then Boston looked pathetic during parts of that series against Milwaukee, especially on the road. Then they were great against the 76ers. And I agree with Brian Windhorst. He thinks the game plan will be try to contain and shut down Kevin Love. They did a great job guarding the perimeter and shutting down. The whole key to the series was shutting down Philadelphia's 3-point shooting. No Bellinelli, no Redick, no Ilyasova. Saric had a couple nice moments there as well. So can you shut down Corver and Smith? I say yes. And you take away Kevin Love? Then it's LeBron's got to be Superman. And then who am I counting on? Who else? George Hill? Who's going to help out the Cavs if Stevens is able to do that and he has all this time to prepare?
Well, I mean, the one thing when you talk about the Cavs here in the postseason, the guys in my mind who stepped up the most, Love and Corver, both of whom were relative non-factors during the regular season for extended stretches. Okay, they're the number 2 and number 3 scorers here in the postseason. They're a combined 50 of 117 from three-point range, 43% in the postseason. Nate McMillan's quote, talking about those 2 with LeBron, those 3 together are just really, really good. There really isn't anything you can plan for. They just kind of play random basketball. And that's the freewheeling nature of the Cavs offense, the creativity of the Cavs offense. Could be a problem for the Celtics, who are schematically perfect on defense. I mean, legitimately or close to perfect on defense. But when Cleveland's schemes aren't organized, it appears to be, there's some randomness there with guys who know basketball who aren't running design sets. That may not be easy for Boston to overcome. But with this Celtics team, again, you're talking about a squad. Okay, they weren't super highly regarded after Gordon Hayward went down. And Kyrie Irving got hurt. And that's going to be the end of their season. People forget how much talent this squad has, how much experience they have. Al Horford, a number 3 pick. Jaylen Brown, a number 3 pick. Jason Tatum, a number 3 pick. Marcus Smart, a lottery pick. Marcus Morris, a lottery pick. Terry Rozier, wasn't he in the lottery? Maybe right after the lottery. I mean, Aaron Baines is the only guy that's, like a second rounder, a lesser tier talent in that rotation. Great defensive team. We worry about the 3-point shooting for Boston, but on the other hand, if the Cavs aren't draining threes in bunches, maybe the Celtics are live to cash a ticket or two in this series.
Sure. They got firepower. They've upped in the pace a little bit. You're number 1 defense in the regular season that fell to 7th here during the playoffs. But so many guys that can score, and Rozier pushing the tempo at times, and with Tatum and Brown knocking down shots, you're going against the second worst defense in the league regular season. So they can exploit that too. And nobody, maybe the best in my lifetime, out of a timeout, drawn up a play is Stevens. So this could be an interesting series as well and be a lot of fun. And what do you think of with the layoff and the start time? It's kind of interesting too. Right? I guess it's 3:30 local time for them, but you get 3-4 day layoff here to get ready for the series.
Yeah, I mean, for the Celtics, the quotes from Brad Stevens like, "Hey, we're going to take it easy." The day after, let me see if I can find that quote real quick. We're asking a lot of the 7 guys that played a ton Wednesday night. They're going to keep playing a ton. So the most important thing that our team can do is go outside, get away from it for a day, and take a day off. Take a deep breath. Then we'll reconvene on Friday, Saturday, and really go to work on how we want to play on Sunday. So I think that was the right choice for Brad Stevens. Give his team a day off, get a little R&R, come back and get to work. Of course, given the long NBA season, I don't think it's that big of a deal for the Celtics to have taken Thursday off. I don't think the rest necessarily helps either one of these two squads, Pauly. I mean, I don't think it's a natural fit to say, the Celtics will be way worse because they're playing on a shorter rest than Cavs. I don't necessarily see it that way. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.